In the grim darkness of the far future, there's only war, suffering, and a whole lot of existential dread. From the necrons to the chaos gods, there's always something out there, ready to end everything. And let's not forget the constant squabbling between factions, each one more xenophobic than the last. But hey, at least they can all agree on one thing, and that's the Tyranids. Those bug-eyed, mind-melting, galaxy-devouring monstrosities are the true enemy. They're terrifying enough that all the factions would probably sideline their petty squabbles for an Avengers-level team-up just to get rid of them. And the best part? Nobody even knows where they came from. They just showed up, ready to eat everything in sight, just like your mom. They most likely consumed their own galaxy, and now they're on a galactic binge-eating spree. And the worst part? The billions of bugs they're currently fighting are just the appetizer. The main course is still out there, somewhere in the dark. And sure, the humans, demons, and xenos at the receiving end of this invasion are getting screwed, but have we ever stopped to think about what it's like to be on the other side? Imagine being a lowly gene stealer, just trying to survive in a universe that's constantly trying to kill you. You're born, you eat, and then you die, all in service of a hive mind that doesn't care about you. So, we're going to spare a thought for these little buggers. We're going to go over all the reasons why it sucks to be a Tyranid. We must start at the beginning to get an understanding of their rough life. These little cockroaches most likely started in the nasty womb of their mom, known as the Norn Queen. She chills in a massive nest on board a hive ship that is also technically alive. These hive ships are huge and sentient. They're part of a larger swarm, or in this case, a hive fleet. There are hundreds of thousands of ships, if not millions. This hive fleet is known as Kronos, which is a bit different than others. Kronos is basically the 40K equivalent of a highly trained intergalactic SWAT team specializing in demon hunting. However, a fleet and the Norn Queen requires sustenance to reproduce and survive. So, when the Queen, aka the baby mama, is hungry, it's time for an all-you-can-eat buffet. Assuming your fleet has already successfully destroyed a planet, the assault team will graciously set up your utensils for feeding time. It's these huge capillary towers that extend from the ground to the atmosphere and connects to the hive ship. These fleshy straws then suck up all the biomass on the planet like a cosmic milkshake. Nothing is spared. Even the Tyranid life forms that are still on the planet are recycled back into this xeno salsa to create new species. With a buffet like that, the Norn Queen is basically a cosmic Gordon Ramsay. She's not just eating, she's experimenting. You see, the biomass absorbed had all the memories and genetic material of every living species on that planet. Every bite is a new flavor profile, every creature a potential ingredient. Think of her as the ultimate genetic engineer. She's taking notes from every species, from humans to xenos, and tweaking the Tyranid cookbook. She can see every battle, every strategy, every mistake her enemies made through the memories absorbed. It's like she's got a cheat code for the universe. So, yeah, they aren't just a bunch of mindless monsters. They're evolving, adapting, and, quite frankly, cheating. You might win against them in the first battle, but they'll adapt with new weaponry or a different strategy next time. It's like they're playing 4D chess. You can't beat them. Anyway, once she's modded the fuck out of her new kids, she lays some eggs. Each batch of eggs could give birth to a different line of Tyranid species. The queen already has her favorites, so your role in life has already been decided. Talk about being a Nepo baby. This is the first reason it sucks, being a Tyranid. You don't really have the opportunity to get promoted or change your position in the hive. Doesn't matter how hard you work. What you're born with is what you get. You could be lucky and be born as a hive tyrant. Born into privilege, they're the blessed 6-foot-tall, blue-eyed trust fund babies that everyone's going rabid over. They're the LeBron James of the Tyranid race, blessed with both physicality and a keen eye for tactical superiority. They're easily recognizable by their sick-ass swords, with even sicker kill counts. They're the ones calling the shots, acting as the de facto leaders. On the other hand, it would suck major ass if you were born as a gaunt. As the name suggests, you're just another number in a sea of replaceable cannon fodder. You're much smaller and weaker than all your counterparts. Picture a horde of angry, underpaid interns, except instead of coffee runs, you're running into your death. They also don't get a cool sword or anything. All you got are these super long claws as your weapons, which are okay, I guess. They are typically sent as the first wave of foot soldiers, so there's a very high chance they get absolutely wrecked as a meat shield. And since all of them are so small, they travel and attack in packs, like bitches. Once a Tyranid is born into their role, they really are just mindless zombies. They would have no purpose if it wasn't for the Hive Mind. To explain, the Hive Mind is the collective consciousness of all Tyranids, and this presence directs and controls everything. Imagine a micromanager named Karen dictating your every move. She'll work you to death with no sick days, no vacations, and no promotions. This is the second reason being a Tyranid fucking sucks. You have no autonomy. It's worse than a dictatorship. At least there's a chance of rebelling if you're dealing with a tyrant or a dictator. But in this case, you have no free thought. You're a slave to something that's beyond your understanding. So, what's the Hive Mind's purpose? Well, nobody knows for sure. Some think they have the same mindset as the local obese lady at your McDonald's, and that's to consume everything on the menu. And that's exactly what they do. But there needs to be preparations before the feast. There are stages to this. A Tyranid invasion typically starts off with reconnaissance. They send in their little spies, known as gene stealers, to the planet of interest to blend in and gather information about the environment. These scouts also corrupt the local wildlife and fauna with their DNA, and once they've successfully integrated the wildlife, the next stage starts. A signal is sent out, and the hive ships arrive through the warp. This initiates the second phase where the Tyranids launch spores into the atmosphere to infest the planet's surface. These spores contain the pore suckers who will launch the first strike. The third stage is the actual invasion. Swarms of gaunts and other bioforms sweep through the planet, eliminating all resistance. Some use their ranged weapons to demolish the enemies, while others use swarm tactics and their close combat skills. In cases where they face resistance, they will have specialized forms to deal with it. Remember, the Hive Mind is extremely adaptable and will change its strategies. If they encounter an Imperial Titan and size is an issue, they'll just grow a bioform that can handle it. For example, Hierophants have been observed to get as big as a Titan. If they're dealing with Psychers, they have the Zoanthropes, who are literally big brains. Their psychic powers can be used in a variety of ways, and this is how they can deal with psychic powers. Anyway, back to the nightmare that's occurring on this planet. Near the end of the assault stage, the planet is pretty much a lost cause. There's no way to save them. The best thing the Imperium can do is commit exterminatus, so that they can prevent the Hive fleet from getting bigger. Assuming Tyranids make it to the last stage, it's dinner time, literally. In the wake of the destruction, the surface is left with tons of biomass from the battle. The Hive ship sends out a cleanup crew consisting of a shit ton of rippers to consume everything, dead or alive, friend or enemy. They then drag their fat, plump bodies and jump into a suicide pool that's connected to the giant capillaries that ascend into the sky. I mentioned earlier, these tentacles pump all the rich, delicious xenosalsa into the hive ships that are above the planet. This is the third reason why it sucks to be a Tyranid. The Hive Mind literally doesn't care about you. You're a cog in a wheel. And like I said, an easily replaceable employee. You just died for their cause and didn't even bother honoring your body. Instead, they recycled your ass. It actually really does suck to be a Tyranid. You can't help but feel bad for the little buggers. That concludes today's episode. Please remember to like and subscribe if you enjoyed it. Feel free to leave a comment below on what faction I should cover next. Also, if you want to support the channel, please visit my shop in the link in the description for some Warhammer 40K LEGO figures.